What's going on, everybody? It's Royce. I'm back with another podcast, and today, like always, the episode is brought to you by Hummel, a sports company that supplies apparel for many different sports and also training as well. You can check them out. If you're watching from YouTube, I will link them in the description below, and if you stay up on my socials, I will be doing sponsored posts as well, so you will be able to check them out and see what they got going on. So go over there and take a look and see if there's anything you like, and I should have a discount code soon, and then I'll be able to supply you guys with that to get you guys a nice discount at Hummel. And enjoy the podcast. It's with Kyle McLagen, and I was super excited to do this podcast, and professional player, pretty well-established player, and had a great conversation with him, so I'm happy for you guys to hear it. Hey guys, welcome to 15 with Royce. I'm back with another podcast here with Kyle McLagen.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So just tell me about your playing experience.
All right, let's start. We'll start with high school, I guess. High school for me was, let's see. I'll start with college, actually. We'll start with college. So I went to Furman University, which is a Division I school in Greenville, South Carolina. I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school, but I went into Furman with, a chip on my shoulder, ready to earn a spot in the starting 11 at Furman. I didn't go in with any scholarship, but I did leave with scholarship. So I worked my way up through my 4 years at Furman to being a starter and being a captain my senior year. And then after Furman, I wanted to play professionally. That was always kind of the goal since I was younger. And I had a few USL trials, couple USL combines, individual opportunities where I kind of was struggling to get an opportunity. I had the opportunities. I was struggling to get my foot in the door, I guess. I kept getting the same answer. You have the level for here, but maybe not the experience we're looking for. So that was a bit frustrating, and then I ended up going to an AX Soccer Tours combine, and from there it happened quickly, developed into a 2-week trial in Denmark within 3 weeks of the AX combine, and then with that 2-week trial I went and did my thing and got signed to the second tier or first division Nordic Bet Liga in Denmark. And then I played 2 years there for FC Roskilde, and then I spent the last half season in Iceland. And then now I guess I'm back home playing professional indoor with the Kansas City Comets.
Okay. So at the beginning of your career, did you ever imagine yourself playing arena soccer?
I guess it was always kind of an opportunity. It wasn't necessarily one that I was intent on pursuing at the start of my career. My dad played for the Comets as well. I grew up being coached by some of the Comets, going to the games and everything. My coach at youth is involved in ownership in the Comets and everything, so I guess it was always kind of an opportunity, but it wasn't necessarily one that I was exploring until, very recently.
Would you say you've enjoyed your experience starting your professional career in arena soccer?
Yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting game. It's definitely different. Lights flashing, music playing, 5-a-side. It's incredibly fast-paced. I don't even know all the rules. I still have to ask the referees half the time what's going on. But it's been enjoyable, and it's just a different experience, and playing with a lot of guys from Kansas City and guys that I haven't necessarily had the chance to play with. So yeah, it's exciting, that's for sure. If there's one word to describe indoor soccer, it's exciting.
Okay, what have you enjoyed most about it?
I think just getting to play for a team in Kansas City. I haven't played in Kansas City since my high school days, and even then, it was high school. So now having friends and family be able to come watch me, and just being able to wear Kansas City on my jersey is just a different experience in itself.
So what can people expect if they were interested in playing in ASL? So for other players, what would you say, as a player, how would you kind of describe your experience in terms of more of I guess like kind of what you do and what's.
Yeah, it's a bit of unprecedented times, I guess, with COVID at the minute, but it's a fairly technical game, but also requires a little bit of experience. So I'm kind of learning on the fly, and I imagine a lot of young players will be as well. There's not as much emphasis on indoor soccer, I guess. It's more futsal and outdoor, but you can just expect a fast-paced game, and it gets pretty physical. Being on such a small pitch. There's a lot of tackles, as you can imagine, a lot of physicality. So it's a good way to improve ball skills as well as the physical side of your game that can then translate to 11-a-side.
What are some of the attributes that you use most playing in the ASL that is also common within 11-a-side soccer?
Just reading the game. I guess it's a different game, but still being able to read from a defensive mindset what players are wanting. It's a different element, I guess, having the wall now. There's no wall in outdoor, so I just think the attributes of being able to read the game and then for me as well, it's helped me develop going forward, I guess. And as a defender, I have the ball on top of the box in indoor, and just being able to spot the right attacking pass and being able to take some shots and everything. So there's a couple of different attributes that I'm developing, or that I'm fine tuning, I guess, from outdoor to indoor, indoor to outdoor.
Have you experienced, having played professional soccer with like 11-a-side opposed to playing from ASL, have you experienced the difference in like decision making, or is there, you make decisions quicker? Or?
Yeah, definitely a lot quicker. In 11-a-side, when my team's keeping possession, I have the ball either at the half line or back in my box, and there's acres of space, and you have to make quick decisions. But it's when you're on the ball, you're watching, or when you're not on the ball, you're watching the play develop, and then then the ball comes to you, have to make a quick decision. But in indoor, there's always somebody in your face. It's a lot of man marking and everything. So when the ball comes to you, you got somebody on you, and you have to be able to spot the runs quickly. There's just a lot more quick decision making involved in indoor because the space is so much tighter.
Yeah, would you say that after playing the season of MASL, would you say that that's helped you or will help you in your future season, 11-a-side football, in terms of decision making?
Yeah, it definitely will. I guess I'll be able to take a breath when I go back to outdoor and be able to watch the play develop in front of me. But indoors helped me to develop my foot skills a little further, and just being able to make those decisions in the tight space in indoor, it's definitely going to play. I feel it'll make me feel like I'm playing, in slow-mo when I first get back to outdoor. So obviously I haven't played outdoors since coming back to play indoors, so I can't tell you with any certainty, but that's how I imagine it'll just feel like I got way too much space, and it'll definitely feel like I'm not touching the ball as much and not as involved, but it'll be a little different, I'm sure.
So you saying that you're going to play in slow motion, feeling like you're going to play in slow motion when you get back to 11-a-side, would you say that it seems like a pretty big difference? So did it take a while to adjust arena soccer when you first got in?
It takes a lot to adjust to the game itself, and the tactics of the game, I guess. But just being fast, strong, and athletic, honestly, has kind of helped me to adjust a little quicker, or if I'm not adjusting to the tactics, to just kind of be able to use my physical presence to influence the game rather than being the tactical wizard, on the ball. So yeah, it's definitely still a learning curve, and I'm still learning as well, game by game, but I think just my athletic ability has kind of been my savior there.
So if you haven't played in Denmark before, and kind of this season working off of this Canada calendar, was this a good experience for you, like kind of in the off season?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go back to Iceland in pretty good shape. Normally when I'm back over Christmas, I guess have a month during when I was in Denmark, and that's a weird balance of taking a week or two off to kind of give your body some rest versus staying in shape, and also just being home visiting everybody and trying to not to get sucked into all the social events going on when I'm back home. But now I've had a longer break home because of COVID and because of Iceland and their schedule. But it's definitely helped me stay in shape and again fine-tune my game. So it's been a different off-season, but just as enjoyable.
Okay, so you'd say you've utilized your extended break because of COVID and whatnot pretty wisely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
yeah, it's I guess indoor is a little hard on the body, but I'd rather be playing and training day in and day out than going for runs on the treadmill or runs outside by myself. So I'm much more keen on staying in shape if I'm playing, of course.
Right. Have you had any advantages playing in the MASL that maybe are disadvantages in 11-a-side or vice versa?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I guess it kind of goes back to reading the game. With outdoor, if somebody takes a big touch, I can step up to make a tackle, or if they get their head up, I know they're going long. But one thing is offsides as well. There's obviously no offsides in indoor. Right. But if somebody's picking their head up outdoor, I can drop and if the guy's quicker than me, I can play offsides. I can, I have a couple different options. But in indoor, you got to react quicker. Like a lot of the time, the guys are behind me. So I'm having to check my shoulders constantly. My keeper's in my ear. But I guess a disadvantage would be playing outdoor my whole life and then moving to indoor where there's guys working off your shoulder, because as a defender, as a center back, I usually have everything in front of me. So that's, I guess, a disadvantage or something that I've had to adjust to. But I guess when I go back to playing 11-a-side, it'll be a bit of an advantage. So it's just different, I guess.
Yeah. So what has your football experience been in Iceland? Iceland's a very different place, and just like football's kind of growing there quite a bit, and the rate that it's growing has been quite exponential from what I've seen. So kind of just what's in the half season that you played in Iceland, what has been your experience with football and also outside of football as well? Well,
I can speak more on football, I guess. I've been over there during COVID, so it's not like I've had the full experience of the culture and everything. And it is growing in Iceland, but it's different than the U.S. in the fact that a lot of these, football's kind of ingrained in the culture over there, along with a couple of other sports like handball. But, they're all passionate about football, and it's changing in the sense that Iceland is now becoming more relevant, I guess, on the world stage, their national team. But they've always had, good academies and good developments in Iceland and everything. So I guess comparing that to the U.S. is a bit of a challenge, I guess, because the U.S., like you said, it's just starting to grow more in the U.S. and a lot of youth are just starting to get more interested in football at a younger age, whereas in Iceland, they kind of grow up with the ball at their feet. I'm not really sure that answers the question, but it's different. And then as far as the culture, again, it's tough to answer on the culture really, just because I didn't have a whole lot of experiences outside the club, and even inside the club. We were limited time in the locker room and everything, so it's been an interesting experience, but I haven't gotten the full experience.
Okay. What has been the major difference you having been experienced playing at a high level in the States, having played in a D1 school, versus playing in Iceland or also playing in Denmark, and how does that vary?
I think the tactical and the technical side in Europe and Iceland and Denmark is much more developed and much more of an emphasis at a young age. I would say, I guess, in college, especially in Division I, just in college in general, the game is a lot more based on physical attributes. In the U.S., it's a lot more about speed, size, just strength overall, versus the tactical and the technical side of the game, which is a lot more of an emphasis, especially in Denmark. They grow up learning tactics and technique from a younger age. So it's much more ingrained in their minds than it is in the U.S., I guess. The U.S. is heading in the right direction, but it's just, I lacked a little bit of the technical and tactical development in my game, and it was a little evident when I first got to Denmark. And then from Denmark to Iceland. In Iceland, it's a lot more, the trainings at a young age are just a lot more roll the ball out and let kind of kids figure it out themselves and just about playing. So Iceland is kind of a happy medium, I guess, between the U.S. and Denmark, to where they breed some big boys over there. So it is a lot about physical attributes, but they also have a little bit, they're more in tune with the technical and tactical side than the U.S. is, but not quite as much as Denmark, so they're a happy medium, I think.
Okay. With you saying that they are breeding some big boys over there, and I've seen played against some Icelandic guys as well. Does the physicality differ from that in the physicality of the United States and football here, or is it just kind of like them utilizing a combination of both physicality and the tactical side of it?
Yeah, I mean, in Iceland, generally speaking, a lot of the big boys can still play with their feet, whereas I guess I'll give an example. When I came to the AX soccer combine, I went to one in December, everything, the ball wasn't necessarily moving in a faster pace, but a lot of the strikers were just quick, were strong, were fast, so I guess that creates a little bit of unease as a defender when you're playing against a lot of faster, quicker guys, whereas in Iceland they do have the speed and the strength attributes, but they don't necessarily, it's not that they don't utilize them like American players do, but they're not hard drilled to continuously make those runs, or they're not hard drilled to rely solely on their strength and speed, I guess is a better way to put it. They also want to play. So the big guys over there, they use their strength, but they use it in a more tactical way, I guess.
Okay.
They want to be a part of the build-up, whereas sometimes in the U.S. you see some of these guys they want to run. They want the ball in behind, and that's where they want it. And they'll use their strength and speed in that sense, but a lot of the guys in Iceland, when they do have the strength, they also want to be that number 9 that holds up the ball, and they're not looking to necessarily get in behind as much.
Okay. So you going back, or trying to go back for another season in Iceland, and what can we kind of expect for your future moves and kind of like what you got going on planned for the future in terms of football?
That's a good question, because COVID has kind of pumped the brakes on a lot of, not just my plans, on the football world in general. Outside the top 5 leagues, those guys also have money and everything, but outside the top 5 leagues, COVID is going to have lasting effects on how easy it is for an American or somebody without an EU passport to get over to Europe, because now Americans cost a little more comparatively to players in their homeland. So I guess we'll see going forward how much and how long it lasts, because currently, in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and all those countries, they're employing a lot more of their own players. A lot of players in their homeland, because it costs a little more to bring an American over, and because of COVID, clubs don't necessarily have that money. So for me personally, my goal is to just keep moving up levels year by year and get as high as I can go. But as to where that's going to be, you never really,
right.
That's part of the being a footballer. You never really know where you're going to end up, and that's also some of the appeal of being a footballer. You can be in a new city, new country, new culture, year by year. Right. So my goal long term is to just keep moving forward. Whether that's in Iceland or moving forward in another country.
All right, well, that's 15 with Royce.
All right.
And thank you for being here.
Of course, I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.